Welcome to another episode of Holding Hope, the voice of the resistance against the Djorkin invasion of our world. As always, I'm your host, John Kerrigan. As you undoubtedly know, the war for our planet rages on. Hundreds of humans lose their lives every day in the war against the Djorkins. I'd like to take a moment of silence for all the brave men and women who gave their lives this week in defense of our world. Thank you. We are now joined by Dr. Sarah Pentecost, a top exobiologist and officer in the resistance. Thank you for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, let's start by getting to know you, Doctor. Where did you grow up before the war,
I grew up in a city named Tijuana in the state, Mexico.
That's awesome. And tell us, Doctor, how did you get into the field of exobiology?
It actually started with my mom passing away. We found out that she had the disease.
I'm sorry to hear that, Sarah. May I call you Sarah?
Of course.
We're all humans here.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Go ahead.
Now, years ago, before the Djorkins attacked, you and your team at the university caught an image of a Djorkin scout craft with your telescope. We have a rendering of that image here. Can we get that up on the screen for just a minute? Very nice. Now, when you and your team went public with this, the government didn't take too kindly to it at all. Tell us a little bit more about what happened.
Well, there was a lot of a controversy the way we caught that footage. We went in blazing up everything that we saw, but they were all Djorkins, so
yeah.
it was all good, honestly.
I see. And why did you go public with your discovery, Sarah? What did you hope would come of it?
I think I was hoping that more people would be aware that this is really happening. It's kind of obvious, but some people are unaware that this is still happening, and the fact that we need to find a cure, and the fact that the Djorkins are actually very, for better of a lack of a word, they're savages, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah. So in a way, you were kind of hoping to have people prepare so that we might not have been in the position we are now.
Exactly.
Understand. Mm-hmm. And I wish it had gone that way. I think we all do. So after that kind of treatment from the government about your discovery, how'd you react when the first Djorkin warships began to actually invade?
I was actually in shock. I didn't really process it right when it happened, but I actually started struggling with it, and then I found myself that I needed to fight back. Yes.
And so is that what you did when the first wave of ships attacked? You started training in combat?
That is correct. I started training with katanas, how to hold them and whatnot in fighting styles, different ones. Just really learning how to protect myself and defend those people that I love around me. Yeah.
And what was it that that led you to choose the katana as your weapon of choice? Because at this point, you're very well known for that.
Yes, I would say that was just a personal preference. I think it's just a very handy tool to use. I am better on my feet than a gun, for example.
Yep, absolutely.
So just maneuvering the katana back and forth is, it's really good.
Yeah, and it never runs out of bullets, which is a pro. I think everyone should carry some form of melee weapon.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Now, I know most of our audience, they have similar stories to yours and mine, but it's always fascinating to hear them, so thanks for sharing that. And as you know, when the Djorkins first attacked, they targeted military installations around the world. Do you think that scout ship that you and your team spotted had anything to do with that?
No, not at all. I think that ship was already in motion before we could even think of that,
Yeah, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that said, do you think there's any way that this war could have been avoided?
No, I think just like from the studying humans, we will always be in fights. It's just the way of the world, honestly. So it's just something that was supposed to happen.
You did call the Djorkins savages, so I'm guessing you think with the meeting of these two, us and the Djorkins, war was inevitable?
That is correct. That's
Understand.
exactly.
Now, we're going to take a short commercial break. Next up, an in-depth look at the war effort right after this break.
There's nothing here but dirt and... What is it?
I don't know. I have never seen hieroglyphics like these. I need your expertise on something. It's entirely alien.
Why are you telling me this over the phone? Don't you know the government tracks this stuff?
Afternoon, gentlemen. That cube is the discovery of a lifetime, and you just want to hand it over to some suit?
You are not in a position to refuse.
Don't just stand there! Get in! Are you saying this thing is some kind of map?
That's exactly what it's.
Quite right, Doctor. It's also so much more than that. No, wait!
Welcome back, everyone, to Holding Hope, and I'm your host, John Kerrigan. We are still joined tonight by Dr. Sarah Pentecost, top exobiologist and officer in the Resistance. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you here, Sarah.
Thank you.
So, Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about how you found the Resistance?
Well, actually, the Resistance found me. I was in the middle of the desert. I had run out of bullets, and I was not near my katana. They were attacking me, the Jorgens, but I was actually saved by them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How close would you say of a call that was?
Pretty close one. I ran out of food and water. I was really, really weak, which is why they were able to beat me up, but not enough to kill me.
So you were stranded.
I was.
Wow. Move on a little bit. Now that the Resistance, we've had our first major victory over the Jorgens in South America about 1 month ago. Can you shed any light on what happened there?
Yes. So what happened is that it was actually a Jorgen that had fallen in love with a human. Now, I know that sounds very strange, and I still don't believe it, but I know it's real because that's how that fight went down. The family of the Jorgen actually killed that human. She was one of us, and they also killed the Jorgen that fell in love with her. It was a real Romeo and Juliet story.
Oh, the Jorgens, they killed both the
Yes.
Jorgen and the woman? Wow.
They did, yeah.
And so that basically, the killing of the woman, is that what, so we attacked in retaliation?
That is correct, yes. She was one of us, and we had to take a stand. I mean, I don't agree with them being together, but, you don't go and killing people. You just don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this was a very momentous victory, and we certainly appreciate those brave men and women who made that victory possible. We have it on good authority here that you've seen combat against the enemy a number of times. So can you tell us about one of those battles that you've been in?
Yes, I can actually tell you a personal one. It actually happened with my younger sister. It was my first battle. This is why I carry my bullets, the bullet shells, empty of all the kills that I've done, but the most important ones here. This one actually was from my little sister. Jorgen was attacking us, and I couldn't get to her, I couldn't get to her. Sorry.
Wow.
It was very traumatizing, and I just couldn't get to her in time, and he killed her, but I was able to avenge my sister.
Well, I'm very sorry for your sister and for your loss, but I am glad that you were able to kill the Jorgen.
Thank you.
I actually saw some combat last week It was just outside of the bunker, actually. They've been repeatedly doing raids, and we've been able to hold them off thus far.
Good.
But enough about me. We've seen on rare occasions that we've actually been able to see what the Jorgens look like under their armor, and they look very familiar and similar to us. Do you think that knowledge is something that can be used by the resistance against them?
I believe so. I mean, just to call back on the story of the Jorgen who fell in love with the human, I think that that's something we could use to our advantage. Just how they can, look like us, we can look like them, and they wouldn't know. And we can attack them and infiltrate their groups.
Absolutely. I hadn't really thought of that, especially if we could seize some of their armor ourselves.
That's correct.
Now, rumors are spreading that the Jorgens are developing bioweapons and that the resistance is doing the same. Can you verify that? And do you think we can create a bioweapon before they do?
Yes, so we are in the process of that, and I do believe that we will get to do the bioweapons before they do. We just need to find one specific detail for the cure, for the antidote, and then we can fight them back.
That is fantastic to hear. What else can you tell us about how the war effort's going right now?
Well, there's a lot of loss everywhere where I am. Lost a lot of good people out there, but I keep fighting, and that's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps everybody going, actually. So.
Yep. 3 more questions. The first of which I think is on every viewer's mind. Sarah, do you think we can win this war?
Yes, I do believe so. I believe if we stick together and we fight back, we can do so.
I, for one, certainly believe that this is a fight that we can win. Now, we have some sketchy reports from the resistance cell in the Himalayas. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it seems that we're going to have to end a little early this week. The Jorgens are bombing the bunker again, but before we sign off, I have one last message for the viewers at home. I know we've lost so much in this war, friends. We've lost family, and in many cases, ourselves. But we've been beaten back so many times, we've lost count. But remember, it's always darkest before dawn. The Jorgens are relentless, but so are we. Don't give up. And we just heard from Dr. Pentecost, there is still hope of a better future. Take that hope, keep it, hold it tight. We are humans of Earth, and nobody is going to take that away from us. This planet needs us, and we are going to show the enemy that Earth is not for the taking. Prove it. Take this hope, take this victory, and we'll see you on the other side. This is Holding Hope, and I'm your host, John Kerrigan, signing off. Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, good night and good luck.